Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Hello, welcome to Tomorrow Again. I wanted to talk to you guys today about numerology. Now, I'm not an expert. I don't pretend to be a numbers expert. I'm not even really all that great in math. But I am a really keen observer, especially of patterns. And I noticed that certain numbers follow, or certain sequence of numbers follow certain events. I've observed that over the years. I gave someone a reading earlier today, and they told me that they keep seeing this particular number. And they've seen it, I think she said 3 or 4 times this week. She's not looking for the number. It's just showing itself to her. So I suggested to her to kind of notice what she's thinking before she sees the number or what's going on. Be observant of what's going on when these numbers present themselves. I was in the grocery store not too long ago, and someone was walking in front of me, way ahead, and they had a t-shirt on, and it had a 1 and an 8 in the back of the t-shirt. It was a dark colored t-shirt with, I think, white numbers, said 18. So I know that was meant for me to see. I don't think I was thinking anything in particular. I was walking down the aisles with my daughter, and I told her, I said, look, that number is meant. It's meant for us to see that number. So then if it shows itself again, then I know it's something that I really need to be paying attention to. So this is just something just on my own I've noticed. You can even assign a number to have a specific meaning. And that number can show up when you've assigned it to show up. No, I don't think that's right. For example, and I don't want to say the actual number, but there could be 2 numbers that you decide that's going to be your money number. That's going to be your number for success, or your number for caution, or whatever you assign the meaning to be. And then you'll start to see that number, and you'll start to make the connections. I don't think numerology is an exact science. It might be, but I've never studied it. I just know I'm a 1. When I add my date of birth, the day, the month, the year, when I add that up, I think it's a 10. And then 1 plus 0 makes that a 1. So I'm a 1 with my numerology. With my zodiac sign, I'm Aquarius. So I use those 2 things to kind of watch patterns that sort of fit with that. It's really hard for me to explain, but once you begin to see the patterns, that's what the key is, patterns. And you assign meanings to numbers. I've got a story I wanted to share with you guys. It's story time. I was going for a walk. I was walking around the block. And some parts of this story, 95% is true. There's about 5% that I'm changing because it involves someone else, and I don't really want to tell her story without her permission. So I was walking around, going for a walk. I was at a park. And back then, I used to smoke. I used to be a very, very heavy smoker. I stopped in 2017. Boy, that was hard to do, but I'm glad I did. It wouldn't go back for anything. So I was puffing on a cigarette, walking, and I saw this lady. She kind of had light colored hair, kind of light brown hair, and she was a little bit on the heavy side. And she went over and sat on the bench. It was a park where I was walking around, and I thought, oh my God, I wanted to sit down and rest. I don't want to have a conversation with anybody. I just want to be in my head. So I went ahead and I sat down beside her and I looked the other direction, and she was smoking as well. And she kind of looked at me and she said, "You're spiritual, aren't you?" And I thought to myself, lady, if you don't leave me alone, can't you take a hint? And she just kept talking. So finally, I began to let my guard down, and I began to receive the message that she eventually brought to me. She told me that, we were sharing just different information. We, exchange our Facebook information, our name and stuff like that. And this was in the very beginnings of Facebook. It really wasn't as popular as it is now. But we exchanged information. And she told me, she said, "What do you think about numerology?" And I said, "I don't really know anything about numerology. I do believe in the energy of the universe, and I believe that certain objects, certain ideas have a certain weight of energy. I do believe that. I do understand that. But I don't really know that much about numbers." So she told me, and I'm kind of giving you an abridged version of the conversation. She told me that whenever I see 1111, that's the universe's way of letting me know that I'm in alignment, that everything all my goals are about to be accomplished, and everything that I kind of wish for will come into fruition. She said it's a very strong number combination. And I thought, okay, it's very strong. So, I hadn't heard of that. I just, I think at that time, one of the numbers that I always liked, as far as a money number, it was 31 or 310. Those numbers seem to always follow me in the form of money power. So, and I think I told her that, and her response was, "Just watch out for 1111, and you'll see the power of that number." And then she told me about Chief Golden Eagle, and I think she's Native American or part Native American. So we formed a very rich sisterhood sitting on that bench, and I never thought that if I just opened myself up to a message, that it could change my life. So we said our goodbyes, and at that time I didn't have a car, so I was taking the bus. I walked a little further, and I was still getting a little tired, so I hopped on a bus. Oh, I was on my way to work, so I hopped on a bus, and I noticed the bus was number 11. I thought, now, and this is true. What I'm telling you is 100% truth, except I kind of changed the lady a little bit, because I don't really want to tell, like I said, I don't really want to tell her story. So I hopped on a bus number 11, and then I noticed on the bus, the front part of the outside of the bus, it said 11th Street, South 11th Street. I was like, dang, well, that's two 11s. As soon as the lady told me about the 11s, I started seeing them. So then I got to work, and my coworker was leaving as I was coming in. I noticed her shirt had a number 11 on it. I'm like, what the world is going on? Then I noticed it again. There was a magazine sitting in the sort of like the waiting room, and the magazine had a clock that said 11 o'clock. The clock said 11 o'clock. And I began to understand that message that she gave me was, I think, the universe way of telling me, hey, look out for these numbers. And she was right. After I saw these numbers, things did sort of get into alignment. My goals did sort of slowly they began to come to fruition. Now, I'm not suggesting that everyone just throw caution to the wind and just go by numbers, but I can tell you, and that was like 25 years ago, 30 years ago. I can guarantee that if you assign a number or a series of numbers to a specific thing or event, a specific energy, and then you assign a color to go along with those numbers. For example, when I see this color and it's followed by these numbers, that's the message that the universe is giving me. There's a lot of power in numbers. There's a lot of power in visuals. There's so much meaning out here. There are so many answers. And it can seem strange at first, almost magical. I don't believe in magic, but I do know that there's strength in numbers. There's power there. So I will give this message to you. When you see the numbers 1111, know that the universe is letting you know that everything will be okay. All is well in the world, in your world. All will be well. Just proceed and live your life. If you can think of any time numbers made a difference in your life, just put it in the comment section and let me let everyone read your testimony. I've got lots of numerical happenings in my life, but that's one in particular. As a matter of fact, that was probably the start of my knowledge and understanding of the power of numbers. Another thing, be careful what you say, what you speak, and what you think. I can guarantee you, if you stay on the negative side of things, you will have a negative outcome. You will notice the negative more. If you force yourself to stay on the positive side, positivity will always rule. This is Tomorrow again, wishing you the best of the best.